One to you. Inside of your bulletin is our Connect card. This is a very important card for us. If this is your first time here, this is how you let us know who you are and how we can be praying for you. We would love to get information. We don't ask for any money from you. This is you're our guest. And so all we ask from you is that you would fill out this connection card. Let us know who you are. We would love to pray for you. We would love to call you and say thank you for worshiping with us, because in Virginia Beach there's no shortage of churches. Amen? But this is a church that God's hand has been upon and is going to continue to be upon. And so we're thankful that you came and worshiped with us. You can also use this Connect card to give us prayer requests. If you have any prayer requests, whether you're a first-time guest or a long-time member, use this card, fill it out, let us know how we can be praying for you. I know that a lot of times we don't like to talk about the things we're going through, but the truth is when we have other people in the trenches with us, life gets a little bit easier. Amen? And so fill out those prayer cards. Let us know how we can pray for you. You can also use this if you make a decision today. If you've made a decision during the week, use it. Let us know. Let us know that you've made a decision, whether it be desire for baptism, whether you want to talk about salvation, whatever that decision may be, you can use it. And when you are done with these Connect cards, you simply put them in one of the offering plates to the side just over here at the entranceway, and that will make our way across the desk and through our time of prayer in the mornings as well. That is all that I think that I have here this morning. Brother Jerry, why don't you go ahead and make your way forward, and we're going to welcome our first-time guests, our online guests this morning.
Good morning, and good morning to our online family and friends. If you weren't here last Sunday to hear Pastor Russell's message on Isaiah chapter 40, verses 28 through 31, please go to that video and watch it. And that number that you see on the screen is there for you watching online to text any prayer requests that you may have. But more importantly, and we cannot stress this enough, if you have any questions about how to receive Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, please call or text that number, and we will make arrangements to sit down with you and share the wonderful news of the offer of salvation through Jesus Christ. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just praise your holy name, and we thank you for all of your blessings. We thank you that you are a sovereign God, that you are a loving God, and that you care for us. You cared so much for us that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross and pay the penalty for our sins that we could never pay. And through our faith and trust in Christ's work on the cross, we can have salvation and spend eternity in heaven with you. We thank you so much for that, and we pray this all in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Will you guys stand with me? Take the next few minutes. Welcome someone to Beach Beacon Baptist Church this morning.
everybody remain standing and take your place, and we're going to worship in the house of the Lord.
And you guys can sing along.
Your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord, 'cause our God is surely in this place, and we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. Shout out your praise. Yeah, yeah. We sing to the God who heals. We sing to the God who saves. We sing to the God who always makes a way. 'Cause he hung up on that cross, then he rose up from that grave. My God still rolls away. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today, and we won't be quiet. Shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord, 'cause our God is surely in this place, and we won't be quiet as we shout out your praise. Oh, 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 yeah. We shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. We were the beggars, now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. 'Cause we were the beggars, now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today, and we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord, 'cause our God is surely in this place, and we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today, and we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord, 'cause our God is surely in this place, and we won't be quiet as we shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. As we shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. As we shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. We shout out your praise. Oh, 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 oh. As we shout out your praise. Yes, hallelujah.
worship this morning. Our Acts 1:8 focus for the month of January is Union Mission, and we've got our guest speaker John Gray here to talk about what they're doing and the things maybe that they need help with. And just a reminder before I call him up there, you can give to that mission. We have a plate right over here to the right side here as you make your way out. You can give to that mission financially, but we also have other ways that you can give. And if you were here last week, in your bulletin, we had a list of things that you can help them out with. It looks a little something like this, if I can find it. And it says the most needed items: men's clothing, women's clothing, bath linens, toiletries, and those things. And so we have bins that are set up just outside in the hallway. If you do collect those things, bring them in, put them in the bins, and we'll make sure they get to where they're going. Paul has a stash of these here. If you did not get one last week, right there on the counter as you make your way out, there is another list there that you can grab, and we may need to print some more. But you can also meet that need. Maybe you can't pay, maybe you can't give money, but you can give other things, and so be diligent in doing that as the Lord leads it on your heart. Brother John, if you'll come forward and just share with us about Union Mission.
All right, thank you, Pastor. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you again, and it's good to be here. My wife, Melissa, is here with me. It's a busy Sunday. It is for, of course, so many people with ministry and things like that. So we were down at the women's shelter this morning, and I thought it'd be a good time to go down. It was our scheduled time to go down there anyway, because I thought it's so cold, they'll stay indoors, unless they have to go to work or something like that. And it's so nice to go in and recognize that, look, this is a place prepared for them. We never close. I mean, we never have essential staff or non-essential staff. We're always open because, well, there's always a need. And so we went down there this morning, and it was a sweet time in the Lord. I'll share a little bit more about that in a moment. But let me just thank you. You have always been so gracious, so generous in helping us with these very practical needs. You say, well, what do you do when you give this thing or that thing? Well, just what's going to happen is there's going to be a transaction of sorts. It's you'll be one party, we'll be the other party, and our homeless guests will be the third party. And that connecting, over the holidays we had a local ministry call, and they call at times. And there was an 18-year-old, pregnant with twins, and somehow she found herself not even being able to stay with family. And I called her mother and I said, "Can you let her stay during the holidays?" Absolutely not, And Grandma was involved, and Grandma was shutting the door down as well. And don't judge those folks for that. We don't know the whole story. And it led to a three-way partnership of helping this young person. But in the process, there were clothes that she needed, and cold weather things, and food and other essentials. So they're important. They just are. And I'll tell you one more story. I was talking with someone in our ministry the other day, and we helped the lady with furniture. Just took furniture, took it to her home. The home had nothing in it. And he told me, he says, and this person had other challenges, but she now wants to stay in that home. Well, of course she does. There was nothing with which to sit on, or lay in, or anything before then. And I think about that, and I think, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to make a home for people whose identity has boiled down to their most severe problem. How'd you like your identity to be established that way? There's so-and-so, and he's carless, has no car. You might be in that situation right now. Or some other challenge, and that's your sole identity. That often is what happens with the homeless. So later this month, there'll be a national survey done called Point in Time Survey. It's done in all of our cities, and we'll participate in it, and then the information is fed to other agencies. And The point-in-time survey for last year determined that we saw an 18% increase in homelessness for nationally. That followed the prior year an 11% increase. So we'll see what happens here in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, where we primarily serve, although we serve across the state, across the country. And within that statistic that I shared with you, there was an increase in family homelessness by 39%. And, last year I was with you, and I said, you need to pray. And I hope you took it seriously. You must have, because God answered our prayer. I asked you to pray for staff so that we could fully expand the women and children shelter. It's called Grace Place. You need to come see it. We have a shelter for single women. We have a shelter for moms and kids. And this morning we have about 45 staying with us, 7 moms and 13 children, and then the balance are single women. And of course you say, well, what's leading to all of that? Well, there's been some natural disasters, you may recall. There's been some other elements, some people movement, migration, things like that. And all of those things God knew about, and God prepared Union Mission Ministries for that time. And then he brought you. And so we're very grateful. And so thank you for supporting. I mean, you've collected things, and one of the things we asked for, and I don't know if you think it's strange or not, it doesn't really matter. It's what our people need, is that we ask for used luggage. Did you know that? I mean, how many of you have luggage in your closet? Now, not the Samsonite with no wheels. Okay, I'm going to be a little picky. Give us something with wheels. Because often our guests will come in and they've got their items that they do own in a bag, something like that. And what we want to do is we want to get it out of the bag and into the suitcase. And if they have to go off for some appointment or something like that, we don't want them walking around town with a bag, and then they say, someone says, well, where are you staying? The Union Mission. Well, could they not supply something better to carry your things around in than a plastic bag? Well, you help us that way and so many other ways. And I don't know what 2025 is going to look like. It's starting out busy. It's starting out with some great opportunities. But I do want to leave you with this. This morning, as I was down at the women's shelter for our Bible study, and you never know who God's going to bring in. You pray, God, bring someone that just needs encouragement, needs to hear the Word of God, and needs the Lord. And He's always answered that prayer. But here's what we do for the people at the mission, our homeless guests. We do what we think the Lord would have us to do, but we do what we believe the Lord would do and what you would do. And perhaps if you were in a situation as some of them, what you would need. And so this morning, you'll know this verse, but John chapter 15, verse 5, I just want to read it. And Jesus said this, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. We were there to teach them that the greatest relationship you can have is obviously one in Jesus Christ. But the greatest relationship you can have is one of dependency. Now, I don't know how that falls on you. You say, well, it probably falls a little differently on the people at the homeless shelter because, they don't have a place to live and they don't have what I have and all that. Well, you'd be missing the point of the text, because very clearly we cannot survive without the Lord. When he says, apart from me, you can do nothing, nothing is nothing. And the greatest thing that we can do and what we aspire to do and what we're doing with your aid and your help is we are introducing them to that relationship, that all-important relationship. One that certainly will change their lives, but our Lord made it very clear, you cannot survive apart from me. And so it's interesting, here we are in a work of survival, getting people off the streets, getting them out of dangerous situations or unprofitable ones. so that they can thrive and survive. But it's no different here than it is anywhere down the street or for anyone else. People need the Lord. And so I'm grateful that you are with us on this journey. Just keep hanging in there, okay? It'll be interesting at times, but we'll see the Lord do great things. So thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor.
Brother Craig reminded me that we do have that list on our website on the Acts 1-8 Ministries page. So if we run out, go ahead online, grab that information from there, bring it in. We don't really have a bin for luggage, but if you bring in luggage, we will stack it somewhere as high as we need to. So whatever the need is, we want to help. So Brother Craig, come forward and dismiss our children here.
All right, good morning, Beach Beacon. How we doing? Everybody nice and warm, toasty in here on this cold morning. Before we get going to take the kids out, just speaking of warmth, it's July, right? No, it's not July yet, but it's time to start thinking about July and our Central Kids Camp for our 2nd through 6th graders. Over here on the Welcome Center, there's registration forms for those that are going to go to camp. Just need to have those completed and a $75 deposit in before February 9th. It sounds crazy, it's awfully early, but that's the deadline that they gave me. Okay, so if you want to, it'll help you get your planning for the summer so you know when to take your summer vacations and things like that. So go ahead and think about it, and we'd love to have the kids go again. We had a great time last year, as every year we have. So sign them up. Let's see if we can fill up a couple vans worth. The total cost is $355 for the camp, but the church will throw down $75 of that for each child. So your cost is $280. But like I said, right now, all I need is a $75 deposit. So if you can do that, we'll be glad to roll them up to Maryland and have another good week. All right, with that, my kids are ready for Children's Church. Let's line them up at the door.
Please stand. We're going to worship some more in song.
Done until it's good. So hello peace, hello joy, hello love, hello strength, hello hope. It's a new horizon. Hello peace, hello joy, hello love, hello strength, hello hope. It's a new horizon. And if you're ready for a breakthrough, yeah, just open up and just receive. 'Cause what He's pouring out is nothing, yeah, you've ever seen, yeah. So hello peace, hello joy, hello love, hello strength, hello hope. It's a new horizon. So hello peace, hello joy, hello love, yeah. Hello strength, hello hope, it's a new horizon. Yeah. 'Cause fear is not my future, you are. Yeah. Sickness is not my story, you are. Yeah. Heartbreak's not my home, Jesus, you are. And death is not the end, Jesus, you are. Sing it again. This fear is not my future, you are. Yeah. Sickness is not my story, you are. Jesus, you are. Yeah. Heartbreak's not my hope, you are, yeah. And death is not the end, you are. So hello peace, hello joy, hello love, yeah. Hello strength, hello hope, it's a new horizon. And hello peace, hello joy, hello love, yeah. Hello strength, hello hope, it's a new horizon. This fear is not your future, you are, Jesus, you are. And sickness is not your story, you are, Jesus, you are, yeah. Heartbreak's not your home, you are, Jesus, you are, yeah. And death is not the end, you are, Jesus, you are, yeah. And fear is not my future, you are, yeah. And sickness is not my story, 'cause you are, Jesus, you are, yeah. And heartbreak's not my hope, you are. And death is not the end, you are. Hallelujah. Yes, Lord. If you know the words to the next song, you guys can sing along. I shouldn't be alive, 'cause my future was 6 feet under, 1 foot in the grave, no hope to be saved. I shouldn't be alive, but I'm a miracle child, defied every diagnosis, and as close as it came, I can stand here and say I'm a miracle child. Oh death, where is your sting? And my Savior's word is final, I am resurrected, blood protected, I am a miracle child. 'Cause if you're facing the odds, and if you think you're beyond his saving, there's no life he can't raise, no, your wounds aren't too great. Yes, he's a miracle God, 'cause he shouldn't be alive, 'cause his body was 6 feet under, 3 days in the grave, but that stone rolled away. Yeah, our God is alive. Yeah, yeah, oh death, where is your sting? 'Cause 'cause my Savior's word is final. I am resurrected, blood protected. I am a miracle child. Oh, death, where is your sting? 'Cause my Savior's word is final. I am resurrected, blood protected. I am a miracle child. 'Cause you're the living, breathing God of glory. I'm a living, breathing testimony. You're the one who turns a dead end story to a living, breathing testimony. You're the living, breathing God of glory. I'm a living, breathing testimony. You're the one who turns a dead end story to a living, breathing God's old story. Oh, death, where is your sting? 'Cause my Savior's word is final. I am resurrected, blood protected. I am a miracle child. Oh, death, where is your sting? 'Cause my Savior's word is final. I am resurrected, blood protected. I am a miracle child. I've been crucified, raised with Christ. I am a miracle child. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Have you ever wandered in the valley? Those moments where you feel lost, wounded, broken. You look around and see an endless journey, surrounded on all sides, cut off from the surface above. The loneliness is palpable. The fear is real. But even here, God remains. For nothing can separate us from His love, neither height or depth. Here in this chasm, in the midst of the struggle, we can find peace. We can find security. We can find hope. For we are not alone. He will never leave us, and He will never forsake us. For He is God, the God of the valley.
Have you ever found yourself in a valley, spiritually speaking? Some of you might have laughed when I asked that question because you said, when have I ever been out of it? Amen? Sometimes it feels like we've been in that valley for a long time, that we're never going to get out of it. But the truth is, we have valleys and we have mountaintop experiences in the Christian life. Amen? It's just something that we have to deal with. And these valleys, they can be the lowest of lows. Right? The psalmist says, yea, though I walk through the valley of what? The shadow of death. Notice it's the shadow of death, not the valley of death. It's not that he was dying. It's that he felt like he was dying. And the picture there is walking between the crags of two rocks where no sunlight comes in. And where no sunlight can come in, there's nothing growing. It's desolate. It's desperate, right? And that's what the psalmist is proclaiming at that time. And so there are times where we're walking through this dark place. And we're going to start a new series in Habakkuk, and you may ask, why would you pick that book? One of the most obscure books in the Old Testament. But the Lord has a reason, and as he laid it on my heart, I'm like, really? That's what we're going to start with? You know, out of all the superstar books we could go with, Habakkuk. But I was reminded yesterday that people walk through valleys. There are people who are walking through a mountaintop experience, and all the people in the valley, we don't like you anymore, right? That's the flesh in us, amen? But we all walk through these valleys and through these high times, and it feels lonely sometimes. We all walk through it. There's a story of a young boy in school, and his teacher noticed he was really, really excited in the last few days, and so she pulled him aside at recess, and she asked him what was going on in his life. And she shared with the teacher that he was going to be a big brother. That's pretty exciting news for a young child, right? And so she noticed he was excited for the next few weeks, and as the baby continued to grow and started moving in the mother's womb, one of those days she invited her son over to come feel the child move. And he was tickled to death to feel either his brother or his little sister moving inside the womb. But shortly after that, a little bit time short after that, he became depressed. And the teacher noticed that he wasn't happy anymore, and she pulled him aside one more time, and she says, I can't help but notice that you don't seem to be too excited about being a big brother anymore. What's going on? And the little boy said this. He says, man, I was so excited to be a big brother, but it looks like Mommy ate him. That boy was going through a valley, amen? We've all been there. And maybe you're here now. Maybe you're walking through it now. But it's books like these that remind us. And you're going to find out as we walk through this book that it starts with a complaint towards God, but it ends in worship. And as a child of God, that's how our complaints ought to come back around. When you look at David, King David in the Psalms, I mean, it was always this complaint, but it always came back to what? It always came back to worship. And that's what we're going to see in this book. And so we're going to be in Habakkuk chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. I called this series Strange Justice because God is going to deliver justice. It's just not the way we think it looks. We have an idea of what justice looks like, but God says there's another way, and it's my way, and it's the way I'm going to work through. And so that's what Habakkuk is going to find out in this passage. And so the title for today, verses 1 through 4, is this: The Struggles Real. The Struggles Real. And if you got a bulletin, there are places in there for you to take notes, to fill in all of these little blanks that we have for the main point. So the struggles real. Have you ever heard that expression before? The struggles real. Habakkuk was in a struggle, and it was a real struggle. And it may be a saying, but it's true. The struggle is real, and he finds himself in this very dark valley, and he's at his wit's end, and in frustration, he just lashes out at God. And he addresses God. And it's in those moments where we lash out that we're usually not thinking very clearly. Or maybe our frustration clouds our judgment. So that's kind of the main point of this passage here in Habakkuk is this. The main point, my personal frustration clouds my ability to see God's justice. And so if you will stand with me out of the respect for the reading of God's Word this morning, we're going to start in verse 1. And we're going to read verses 1 through 4 in chapter 1. The oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you make me see iniquity? And why do you idly look at wrong? Destruction and violence are before me. Strife and contention arise. So the law is paralyzed, and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surround the righteous, so justice goes forth perverted. Would you pray with me this morning? Father, as we come to this passage, it becomes all too real, like we've been here before. And I'd venture to say that everyone in this room has probably been there before. God, why? How could you? But in those times of frustration, we find that maybe we're the ones that don't have all the information. And so, Father, as we open this passage, as we look at Habakkuk and his ministry and this oracle that we are given, God, would you open our eyes to the truth of this passage? Father, as the psalmist says, open my eyes that I might see truth from your law. Holy Spirit, come alongside us and open our eyes and show us the truth from this passage this morning. And help us not only to understand it, but to engage with it and to go out changed by it. We pray this in Jesus' name, and amen. Amen. You guys can be seated. We're going to walk through this passage verse by verse, and the first thing we're going to see here is this burden exposed. I called it a burden exposed, and so it starts here in verse 1, the oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. And so the book of Habakkuk is a unique book in several ways. One of the ways it's unique is its opening. What we call the superscription or the opening. It's the information that we get about the writer and what's going on and what's his authority for writing and all of those things. And if you go to Isaiah or if you go to Jeremiah, there are paragraphs full of that introduction, right? But when we come to Habakkuk, what do we see? The oracle that Habakkuk saw. What do we know about him? Not a whole lot. It doesn't tell us a whole lot. And outside of the book of Habakkuk, there really is no more mention, outside of Jeremiah, of the prophet. And so it's unique in several ways, and we'll talk more about how it's unique a little bit later, but it says the oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. So we don't know much about him. We don't know where he came from as much. We do know that he was a prophet. It tells us that much in the passage, right? And the word here in Hebrew, the word prophet in Hebrew, really understands a professional office. And so really what he's saying is when he says prophet here, it's someone that God had ordained to be a prophet. It wasn't just someone who was speaking up on his own. More than likely, he was a prophet in Judah at this time, and he was ordained to do that. But that's all we really know about Habakkuk. And then he says this word oracle, the oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. This Hebrew word masah means a burden, an utterance or a burden. And so this was a burden that was in the prophet's heart. And you see that come out in this passage here. It's something that he's struggling with, and the passage bears that out as you go through. And the question is, what is this burden that the prophet is struggling with? And so we need a little bit of historical context to really make it come alive. And last week, I have to apologize. As I was giving you some history, I told you that the kingdom split under King David. That is not true. It actually split under King Rehoboam. King David was the warrior king, right? He was the one who gave us everything we needed. But then his son, Solomon, came in, and he was a king of peace. And that's when the kingdom really grew, and his wealth grew. And then at the end of his time, they put forward this king Rehoboam, his son. And if you remember, the 10 tribes at that time felt like they were being unjustly burdened by Solomon. And they come to Rehoboam after he's been put forward, and they say, what is your plans moving forward? Are you going to be like your father, or are you going to let up? And they come to him, and he says, I'll give you an answer. So he goes to his advisors, right? And he goes to the wise men, the elderly, and they say, hey, if you just love these people, they will follow you. And then he goes to his young advisors, and they say, you know what? They're just being lazy. We ought to make their yoke even harder. And guess which one Rehoboam went with? The harder yoke. And so the 10 tribes of Israel threw their hands up and says, what do we have? What do we have with the king of Judah anymore? And they split off, and they make their own king, I think Jeroboam, who was there in their midst, and they made him king for the 10 tribes of the north, and then it was Judah and the half-tribe in the south. And so that is when the kingdom split, and it's important because we know that Habakkuk's ministry revolved around two main historical points. The first was the fall of Assyria and Nineveh. And the second was the eventual rise and eventual kingdom of Babylon. And so we know generally that's about where he ministered right along, kind of alongside Jeremiah. And so all of that is important. The split is important. And the reason it's important is because we know that Assyria came against the northern kingdom and took them into exile because they were pretty much a pretty bad, sinful kingdom. They set up altars. They did not come and worship in Jerusalem. They set up their own altars. They set up their own places of worship in Samaria and Shechem. They worshipped other gods. And so God sent Assyria to them and basically overtook them eventually. And so they go into exile. The southern kingdom is still there. Assyria turns its attention to that southern kingdom to overtake them as well. King Hezekiah says, hey, God help us. Falls to his knees, makes reforms, and God says, I'm going to help you. And he routs the Assyrian kingdom and that had come against Judah, and they go back running with the tails between their legs to Assyria. And it's at that time that their own son, the king's own son, kills them. Right? And so Assyria is in turmoil. It eventually falls apart, and then you have this Medo-Persian empire that kind of meddles around for a couple of decades, and then you start to see this rise of Babylon. And in the midst of this rise in Babylon, there were some kingdoms in Judah that had come up. And the reason this is important is because these kings are generally the complaint that is going on in Habakkuk's dress here. The kings that had come up. And so one of the most evil kings after Hezekiah was Manasseh. He was an evil king. He was so evil that he even put his own son to death, to the god Moloch. He reigned for 55 years, an evil, evil king. But then came another king by the name of Josiah. And Josiah was what we call the child king, right? He came to the throne when he was 8 years old. Could you imagine that? Moms, we don't let our 8-year-old get milk out of the fridge. But he was a righteous king. And so there was this evil that happened, and then God gave them Josiah, and he was a righteous king. He put away all the idols. He put away all of these things that they were worshiping that weren't God. They found the scrolls in the temple, and they renewed themselves to worshiping God, and they flourished for those years. Now there was this prophecy in Hezekiah's time that said that that Judah would eventually be taken into exile. Habakkuk knew this. Many of the prophets knew this, but yet they got to experience this time of just incredible wealth, freedom. But they knew in the back of their minds that God had already told them that they were going into exile. And so they got to experience it. King Josiah finally comes off, and they try to put in one of his sons. And if I can find it here, I'll tell you who it was. Jehoahaz. And so they tried to put Jehoahaz forward as the next king of Judah. The problem was Jehoahaz was a rebel. And King Necho, or Pharaoh Necho of Egypt, says, you're not going to serve me. And so what he did was he summoned that king down to him, and when he came down, he imprisoned him. And what he did was he took another king and put him in its place. And they installed the king Eliakim to the throne, renamed him Jehoiakim. And this king was brutal. One of the most brutal tyrant kings Judah ever knew. And in fact, he was so brutal, he's the only king that's ever mentioned to take the life of a prophet. He killed a prophet in his time. So Habakkuk knew this. Habakkuk had seen the treachery that was going on in the kingdom. And so that is the history of what all is going on top of the fact that Babylon is now rising to power. And what was the prophecy? That Babylon would come and take them away. So not only is he seeing all this treachery, this evilness in the kingdom, but now they're seeing Babylon kind of come to the front, and they know their time is limited. And so that is the history of what Habakkuk is dealing with here, the rise of Babylon, but also the fact that they had this great time, and then now it's just all falling apart. People are getting killed. His contemporaries, a prophet, has been killed. And if we look at that, we say, well, maybe he's justified in what he's saying. Amen? And so that's the burden that Habakkuk is carrying. But look next at the question of indifference. And so when he addresses God, he's going to use 3 different routes in which he addresses God. The first is a question of indifference. Another unique thing about the book of Habakkuk is that Habakkuk addresses God on behalf of the people. If you've studied prophecy, you know that's completely backwards to how prophecy usually works. Prophecy usually works by God speaking to a prophet on behalf of the people. It's completely backwards here. Habakkuk, on behalf of the people, is going to address God. And this is what he says, "O Lord," in first part of verse 2, "O Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear?" And it's based off the main question, how long? Have you ever asked that question? How long are we going to have to deal with this? How long do we have to keep doing this? And how long does this have to continue on? And it's kind of like that question we ask God when we're praying for something, right? How long am I going to have to pray for this and you don't answer my prayer? As if God works on our time frame. As if God bends his knee to us. And essentially that's what he's saying. You're not working on my timeline. Why haven't you taken care of this? Does that resonate with you this morning? You can all remember a time where we've been there, we've been praying for something and it's just not happening, and we say, how much longer, Lord? How much longer? And then a second question arises in this text, the latter part of verse 2. It says, "Or cry to you in violence. Cry to you violence, and you will not save." That word violence here means a cry of horror or a cry of distress. How much longer are you going to make me see this violence? I'm tired of seeing it. And you won't save us. You're doing nothing about it. And that's why the history is so important. That's why I took so much time to tell you the history, because it was real. What Habakkuk was dealing with was real. There was real violence going on. There was real evil going on in the kingdom. And he's saying, why are you allowing me to see this? The threat of violence was real, not imagined. He watched one of his fellow prophets die at the hands of this king. I can't imagine, but I don't think that would give me the warm and fuzzies as a prophet of God. Amen? So the question of indifference is how he first goes, and then look at the next section, a question of inaction. He's going to blame God of not moving in the first place. Look at the verse 3, the first part of verse 3. "Why do you make me see iniquity, and why do you idly look at wrong?" And so we had a main question of how long in the last one. The main question in this one is why? Why? And the question of why has a more personal nature attached to it. Why are you letting me see this? Why do I have to see this? Why am I experiencing this? Why are you allowing me to witness the brutality and doing nothing? And in fact, he accuses God of doing nothing, inaction. That's why I say that the main point is my personal frustration clouds my ability to see God's plan. Because when we are not focused on him and we're focused on our troubles, we can't see his plan. And then he makes this statement, "Destruction and violence are before me, strife and contention arise." And he's referencing this brutality, this evilness that's coming from this current administration. He's frustrated. He's seeing it firsthand. He sees the ruin and the devastation that's coming for his kingdom. And that phrase, "before me," in the Hebrew here means plain to see or conspicuous. Plain to see or conspicuous. And what he's saying is what used to be hidden is now out in the open. Does that resonate with you this morning? Sound like something we lived through? What used to be hidden is now wide open, and not only is it out in the open, it's being celebrated. And believe it or not, they were dealing with the same thing. And when this prophet was killed, there was probably plenty of people in the camp of, woohoo! Good, great. It's before me. It's plain to see. It's conspicuous. And he says that strife and contention arise, literally translated discord, quarreling, or brawling. And that's generally the picture of what happens when God's kind of absent and men are left to their own devices. That's the picture of what's going on here in this passage. And I bring all of this out to show the desperation that Habakkuk is facing. It reminds me of that phrase, going to hell in a handbasket. You've heard that before? You know where it originates from? Most people believe it originates from about the Revolutionary War time frame. I'm sorry, not the French Revolution. And so the people, when they caught them, they would basically take them to the guillotine and they would chop their heads off and they would put their heads where? In a basket. And that's what it means, going to hell. You're dying, you're going to hell in a handbasket, right? And that's kind of what's going on in this kingdom, amen? It's just going to hell in a handbasket. And then he has this question of injustice next in verse 4. Look at it. The first part of 4, so the law is paralyzed and justice never goes forth. Sounds familiar? That word paralyzed in the Hebrew here means numb. It means numb. Like the numbness that comes on when you sleep on your arm. Anybody have that problem? Like you go to sleep and your body decides to wake you up before you die and tell you to move. And your arm is so stinking numb, right? It's just limp. And you're laying on it and you can't get it out from under you, so you're like doing this little dance in bed trying to get your arm out. And eventually you get your arm out and you do this other number and you try to get it spin over there and you turn yourself over and you're hoping that your arm doesn't land underneath you and snap it in half. Amen? Is that me? Or does that happen to you? Your arm is completely useless. That's the picture that's being painted here in this passage. That the justice that's going on is useless. The law is useless. It's not that it's not there. It's there. It's useless. Because the people are so far gone. And that's the result of a wicked generation that thrives. When the law is numb, when the law is paralyzed, the wicked will thrive. And that's why he says this here. For the wicked surround the righteous, and justice goes forth perverted. If it doesn't sound familiar to you, your eyes have been closed. Because it's a lot like what we're living through in this time. A lot of people will be like, why would you go to the Old Testament? There's no application. Let me tell you, there's nothing new under the sun. We've been dealing with it from a long time ago, and until the Lord comes, we'll deal with it again in the future. There's this pattern of evil that rises from time to time, and in frustration we cry out to God, why are you allowing this to happen? How long are we going to have to deal with this? And the truth is, it all comes from the fact that we're working on our timeline and not God's timeline. And so the question is, how do we make application out of all of this? In this passage. And I told you 2 ways this passage is unique. I'm going to tell you a third way this passage is unique this morning. The way we apply it. And let me explain this. This passage is unique because it makes an application not from the passage itself, but the fact that the passage is here in the first place. The fact that there is a passage that we're reading about is where the application is going to come from. The fact that this passage exists tells us that God speaks. Wasn't that his problem before? That God, you're not speaking. And yet here we have this passage that says otherwise. And he says, God, you're not working. And here we have this passage that says otherwise. And so the application isn't necessarily going to come right out of verses 1 through 4. It's going to come out of the fact that this passage exists in the first place. And so let me give you the 4 main points, 4 main truths that we have, and you can fill them out in your bulletin this morning. First is this: my God speaks to me even in the darkest of times. My God speaks to me even in the darkest of times. And these were dark times. And maybe you're in dark times. But God will speak even in the darkest of those times. So the prophet is lashing out. He's in this dark time. He expects that the Lord is not speaking, and really the exact opposite is what's about to happen. He's going to invoke the reaction of God by this declaration here, and we'll see that in the next few weeks. But he got to this place, these dark times overcame him, and he finally lashes out, and he says, enough, enough. There's a story of an underground church pastor and his son imprisoned by a communist regime. And to force the pastor to give up the members of the church, what they did was they threw rats, hungry, starved rats, into the prison with them. And what that meant is they couldn't close their eyes. They couldn't go to sleep. And I don't know about you, but when you're sleep deprived, you don't make good decisions. Amen? But unfortunately, this tactic was taking too long. It wasn't getting the desired results, so they rip his son out of that jail cell. And they start beating him. And as a parent, you know what that'll do. And they kept beating him, and eventually the pastor just said, enough, enough, I'll give you what you want. And in defeat, he told his son, I must tell them, son. And it was at that point that God spoke to the pastor through his son in this way. He said, stand strong. If they kill me, I'll die with the word Jesus on my lips. God speaks. Sometimes we're just too crazy to hear it. Stand strong. And that further enraged the guards who beat him to death. But it was that word he spoke to his father that helped his father keep his faith and continue the fight. There will be dark times. I know this is not a topic we all like, right? Pastor, you're here 2 weeks, and it's supposed to be uplifting, and it will be. But we have to get through some things first. There will be dark times. Jesus warned of them, amen? He said, if they persecute who? Me. How much more do you think they're going to persecute you? The problem isn't that God doesn't speak, but God doesn't speak the way we want Him to sometimes. And in Habakkuk's darkest time, he speaks. And today, in your darkest time, he speaks. The question is, are you listening? Jesus himself endured the darkest days on the cross so you can know him, so you can hear his voice. And I'm here to tell you today, God is faithful. He sent his son so that we can be reconciled to him, made right with him. God is faithful yesterday, today, and forever. And in the months of your darkness, in the midst of your struggle, he still speaks. Sometimes we're just not listening. Number 2, my God hears me even when I feel unheard. Have you ever felt unheard in your life? Women, don't nudge your husband. I think we resonate with Habakkuk. There are times we feel that God's not listening or He's not hearing our cries, and you're in good company. We've all been there, but Jesus Himself was there, amen? As Jesus hung on the cross in His darkest days, He cried out, He said, my God, why have you forsaken me? But can I tell you, those were not cries of defeat. Those are cries of victory. because he knew his death was going to be the way that you and I were able to go into the throne room of God. And so while he was lonely in that moment, he knew that there was victory to be had by it. He bore your sin. He bore my sin. He bore the sin of the world. Even the evil King Manasseh. Even the king who killed a prophet. So that we could be reconciled to God. And we can hear from God. Sometimes we're just not listening. There's a story of a Native American who left the reservation and he went to visit New York City. And he was walking the streets with one of his friends. And as he's walking the streets in a really busy area of Manhattan, you know how noisy that area is. I mean, there's every distraction you can think of in that part of the city. And the Native American stopped. And he said, "I hear a cricket." And his friend said, "There is no possible way you can hear that cricket." And with that, the Native American stooped down, moved a piece of trash, and sure enough, there was the cricket. And the Native American said this. He said, "It's not about the noise and the confusion. It's all about what you're listening for." And he pulled some change out of his pocket. And as he kept walking the streets, he dropped the change. And wouldn't you know it, every head within a few feet of that area turned to look and see what was going on. And so the understanding that he couldn't hear what was going on was not true. It's just that he wasn't listening for it. And can I tell you this morning, it's not that God doesn't speak. It's that sometimes we're so distracted, we're not listening for God to speak. You can say amen. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Sometimes we allow the noise of this world to distract us and drown us out. And it drowns out the voice of God. We have to be mindful. We have to always be listening and attuned to the voice of God. Number 3. My God is moving even when I don't understand the plan. And can I tell you, we don't have the full plan. We have parts and we have pieces of it, but we don't have the full plan. Even though Habakkuk knew the prophecy, he knew that they were going to be exiled to Babylon eventually, maybe those years of prosperity that they got to have, maybe he just thought, oh, maybe, just maybe, God will relent. But when God sets a plan, he finishes that plan. And God's going to finish this plan the way he said he was going to finish it. But it's God's plan to unfold, not ours. And we must understand it was God's plan. And God's going to respond to this troubling cry next week. And we'll talk about that in the next few weeks. Just because we don't understand God's plan doesn't mean it's not right. Doesn't mean it's not good either. Because good comes from bad sometimes. If you don't believe me, think about the Israelites who were promised the land of Canaan. But yet their promise came through a promise of 430 years in Egypt. Much of which was spent in what? Slavery. And not only that, when they finally get out of that, they're chased. They have to fight for what they're getting ready to get. Amen? God's plan isn't going to be easy. But God's plan is His plan, and it's the right plan. And it has heartache, and it has trouble, not because He does it, but because we live in a sin-infested world where that is just natural. And we have to walk through it. God is moving even when we don't understand it. Number 4, my God protects me even in the midst of destruction. And I can say that because Habakkuk lived to write this text. Amen? The fact that Habakkuk is speaking means that God is protecting him in this very tough time. And that God's going to use him for a purpose. and protecting him in the process. There's a story of a believer who was fleeing persecution. And as he was fleeing and running, he fell into a crevice, and through that crevice he found himself eventually falling through and into a cave. Exhausted, expecting that the men would find him shortly, he resigned himself to being caught. And in the distance, he saw the opening to the cave, and as he looked at the opening to the cave, he saw this spider weaving a web. And it was so mesmerizing watch, but in a short time, he had that whole cave opening completely taken care of with a web. And eventually, the people who were chasing him come across this cave opening. And they start arguing between each other. Should we go check this out or should we not? And one of the guys says there is no possible way he went in there because that spider web is unbroken. And what was his pain, what was his frustration, ended up being his salvation, because they did not go into that cave because there's no way he could have gone into that cave. God works even in the midst of our pain and our suffering, and when things seem to be falling apart, God is still in charge. God can protect us even in the darkest of times. We don't have to understand it all. We just need to rest in His promise. And that promise is good. He is working. He is moving. He will protect. He will bring us through. Are you resting in that promise today? Or are you striving in your own strength? Would you pray with me this morning? Father, these are not the easiest words to preach, and nobody wants to really hear it. It's not the warm and fuzzy feeling we want from every Sunday when we just want to go away filled with joy. But God, there's struggles that we have to understand that come with this life. And we've got to take the good with the bad, and we can't say that you are a good God in the good times and not say the same in the bad times. Your goodness is not dependent on my circumstances. Your goodness rests in the fact that you are God and God alone. And so, Father, as we come to this time of reflection, as we turn ourselves inward and as we seek your voice, Father, I pray that as we wrestle with this message today, as we wrestle with whatever the Holy Spirit may be laying on our heart today, that, Father, you would help us to just lay it down. Lord, a lot of times we take our struggles and we carry them and we work them and we deal with them. And Lord, you just want to say, lay them down. I have a plan. It's a good plan. And I will get you through. But in our own hands, we got to have control. Help us to give up control. Father, help us to rest in your promise that you will bring us through. You will protect us. And there are good days coming. And I don't know where each person is here this morning, but I do know that you are a God of justice, a God of glory, a good Father who loves His children, who walks alongside His children and protects them and cares for them and knows what's best for them. And so, Father, I don't understand the whole plan. I don't understand everything, but I know that you are God. And you're the only one with a track record that is 100%. I give you the glory. I give you the praise. And we pray all of this in Jesus' name. And amen. Amen. We're going to take this time to worship. As we do, we're going to take this time to contemplate what it is the Spirit may be speaking to each and every one of us here this morning, because the truth is we don't hear these words just to hear it and go home. We hear these words to take it and to wrestle with it and to deal with it and to put it in practice in our own lives. So I don't know what you may be facing today, but I know the answer is our good, good Father, who will take care of you, who will walk with you through that trouble. And what He's asking you to do is to lay down your trouble. lay it down. Take your hands off of it, because He's fully capable of taking care of it for you. And maybe that's what you need to do here today. Maybe you're dealing with something. Maybe you've got a struggle in your life and you just need to come to the altar and lay it down. Or maybe you're here today and you don't understand what it means when Jesus hung on the cross and He made a way for you and I where there was no way before. I'd love to talk with you about it. Maybe you're here this morning and you don't know Christ as your personal Savior. Religion's not just something we do. It's a relationship with a good, good Father. And if you don't have that relationship this morning, I'm going to encourage you to come down. Let me know how I can be praying for you. I will walk you through what the plan of salvation looks like. There is no reason that anyone walks out this door without knowing our good, good Father this morning. And maybe He's working in your heart today for that very end. Would you come? Would you talk with us? We're going to have this time of worship, but it's going to be a time of prayer. Maybe you just want to come down and you want to pray over something that's going on in your life. The altar's open. Someone may even come beside you and pray with you, pray over you. They don't have to, but they may do that, and that's okay because we're all brothers and sisters in Christ, and we do this together, not alone. Amen? So would you stand with us in worship? Would you respond however the Lord may lead you to do this morning?
I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard a tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I see many searching for far and wide, but I know that we're all searching for answers that only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. 'Cause you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us, yeah. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Oh, it's love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. It's a peace that's so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still into love. Love, love. 'Cause you're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am.
just a moment. And just a reminder that in your bulletin is a decision card. Maybe you made a decision, maybe you didn't come forward, and that's okay. If you made a decision this morning, fill out that card. Let us know. Drop it in the plate. We would love to pray for you. If you have a prayer request, put it on there. Drop it in the plate. This is a praying church, and we want to pray for one another. So let us know how we can pray for you. We've got a couple of announcements coming up. We do have a deacons meeting at 2. We have the stewardship meeting at 1 o'clock. So make sure you're back here at 1 o'clock to start those meetings, and we'll get through as quickly as we can. We value your time, and we thank you for being here. So we want to make sure we're being dedicated to getting through that and doing it quickly. We do have a few announcements, and where are you at, Ann?
We are kicking off our women's ministry, or ladies fellowship, if I cannot get that right in my brain. Ladies fellowship is starting a week from this Tuesday. We have our first event for 2025. It's called Winter Whimsy. It's a paint night. This is like such a fun event. We usually have a full house. Last year it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to tell you what we're painting, but we invite all of you to come, all the ladies. And also, if you have neighbors or friends, we encourage you to invite them. It's a great way to introduce them to our church. We do have a sign-up sheet. This is free of charge. Shelly is leading our event. She does a great job with it. So we have a sign-up sheet right over here. You can sign up today. You can sign up anytime during the week if you happen to come by the church, or next Sunday. We do have a limit of 50 ladies just because we have a lot of supplies and we need to plan for that. So again, encourage you to come. It's a lot of fun. So remember, if you can sign up today, we would love that just for planning purposes. We'll have a few light snacks and refreshments as well. So thank you.
You guys have your bulletin. All of the announcements are in the bulletin. I know you guys are used to 101 people passing microphones, but we're going to try to cut down on that a little bit because I don't know if you noticed, I preach a little longer. Amen? Oh, we noticed, Pastor. But hopefully it's meaningful. And so I'm going to ask Brother Paul, if he will, come and close us in prayer.
Guys, bow your heads, please. Father, as we take in this message of renewal, Lord, we thank you for the word that's come forth. Thank you for Pastor's heart and sharing what is deeply meaningful to this church body. Lord, I'm reminded of your word in Numbers. Father, you're at the time, it's the blessing of peace and continence be upon thee. Lord, be with us in our steps forward. Lord, help us take this message, not just to keep it within the walls of this church here, but help us carry it to the community that needs to hear it so much. Father, in your name and all the works of Christ Jesus. Amen. You guys are dismissed.